Costa Rica. This is a game that I've seen on the shelves on my friendly local game store for years. And I thought, well, it must be good because they keep reprinting it. So I picked up a copy without really knowing much about it. And on the drive home, my 12-year-old daughter is like, so why did you buy if you didn't know anything? I explained, well, they keep reprinting it. And she goes, oh, it was the same copy on the shelf all this time. I'm like, kids these days with their independent mind and like critical thinking. Where's this world going? So, Costa Rica. It is a light, very light, family-friendly, family-oriented game geared, again, toward young players, casual gamers. And so, well, I played it with my family. We played it with 4 players, including Mom. She definitely prefers light games. In this game, you're traveling in Costa Rica, I guess. Not that I recognize the map particularly well. You will use these tiles, shuffle them, and you form this hexagon, and then each player will have an expedition member on each of the 6 corners, and the group of explorers is called an expedition. We'll be traveling around, revealing things, and I guess we're filming or taking pictures of animals, and we'll score them at the end. If we have one of each kind of animals, you score 20 points. Otherwise, or on top of that, for each animal, you will score that many points for how many you have of that kind. 5 frogs, for example, will give me 15 points. 6 frogs will give me 21. We have 3 types of terrain, but they don't have all the same animals. The mountains have these animals, the water has these animals, and so on and so forth. Also, simply some kinds of lands have more animals, and also, however, some kinds of lands have more or fewer mosquitoes. These are the biggest threat here, not the big feline who looks at you like your lunch. No, the mosquitoes are really the dangerous thing. It's a push or luck game. If you know the game Ink and Gold, there are similarities here, which is good because that's one of my favorite push your luck games. So, we got expeditions. Players will alternate being the expedition leader. When you're the expedition leader, you choose an expedition that still has one of your explorers in it. Suppose that I am yellow. And you choose a tile that the expedition is currently adjacent to. That's so expedition will go deeper in the land later, and they will start in different locations. And so, as the expedition leader, you choose a tile adjacent to the expedition that declared will be the active one, and I look at it. That's the first thing you do. Then the expedition leader can choose to pass or to take that tile. If you take the tile, well, you take it, place it in your personal area, but you also remove your explorer from the expedition. If the leader decides to pass, then every other player in turn order is offered the same option, which is to pass or to take that tile and remove their member of the expedition. So of course you're given the option only if you're still in that expedition. Suppose I decide to go, and you can use this marker here to mark the current position of the expedition. And suppose I decide to go, I'm the expedition leader, I reveal that one, and I can choose to take it. Suppose that everybody passes, then I decide to reveal that one instead. And that one, oh no, has a mosquito. Same thing, when there's only a mosquito visible in a certain journey, I can choose to, again, take it or pass. However, if we keep going, because everybody has passed, if we keep going and a second mosquito is revealed, what happens is the 2 tiles with the mosquitoes are removed, and the expedition leader has to take the remaining tiles and remove their leader from the expedition. Suppose that I decide to bravely go, I keep going that way, but then I'm worried, and I take all of those, or somebody else in the expedition decides to take it. But suppose it was me. So again, I'm taking the tiles, not because I choose, not because I'm forced by double mosquitoes. I remove my explorers from the expedition. Now the expedition is right there, which is where the previous thing happened. Next player goes, next player now is red, then they decide to activate this expedition, they reveal that one, immediately not good, but they decide to keep going and everybody has passed, and booyah, now somebody in the expedition decides that they are happy with those tiles. I suppose it was the purple player because, again, everybody gets a chance who's still there. And so that's how it goes, and down the player goes, and so on and so forth. So you will continue like this until all expedition members have been removed from the board, or until there is nowhere else to go, because as you can see, the map will change, and sometimes expedition members will stay isolated and they have nowhere to go. It's entirely possible to manipulate things so that you are locking out expeditions to which you do not participate, or you lock out yourself. That happens also. So continue until all the explorers came back home, or until it's impossible to continue to play. At that point, the players will have their set of animals. You score them according to this situation here. Player with the highest score wins the game. I enjoyed this game quite a bit. Sure, it is a light family game. You can play it as a filler. Once you get it started, once players know what to do, it takes a little bit to set up compared to how long it takes to play. But it's actually, again, really fun, engaging, and rewarding. And I found that for a game this simple, there is more than meets the eye. I found myself surprised by how much thinking I was given to the situation when it was supposed to be such a simple push your luck. It doesn't hurt that it reminded me of two of my favorite push your luck games. Inca Gold, which I already mentioned, with the idea that you're staying in an expedition, and as long as possible, as long as it seems viable, but then bad stuff can happen. You have to decide when it's time to leave. And of course, you will always regret leaving too early or leaving too late. It also reminded me, though, of another game, push your luck, that I like very much, which is Loot and Run, with the fact that the back of the cards there gives you a sense of how dangerous a certain area can be. And here you have the same idea with the different landscapes, giving you a sense of, again, how likely you are to find a mosquito there, but also what kind of animals you're going to find there. So again, the general idea basically is like every time when you're not the active leader, stay or take the tile and run. And when you're the active leader, also where to go and where to draw a certain path. And that, I found myself again enjoying the process a lot more than a 50% stay or leave. I really enjoyed trying to figure out how to get my expeditions in a way that, as an added bonus, would get in the way of other expeditions, especially if I was not going to be in one of those. So it can be a little bit confrontational that way, but it's not too mean. Because again, maybe later in the game when I'm not in some explorations. I'm also trying to not get stuck, to kind of not find myself in expeditions that are in danger of doing those things. The 20-point bonus is very nice. It's a big incentive, so I'm trying possibly to get it, of course. And maybe I see that a certain family member is missing a certain animal, so I don't want to go there. But they can find other ways, and they can do it to me. So it's pretty interesting because there are ways in which you can fairly actively get in other people's ways, kind of like try to actively reduce their chances of getting what they need. And yet somehow it didn't feel too confrontational, it didn't feel too mean. I don't know exactly how, but I can only describe my experience of playing the game. And I got some family members who really do not like confrontation, and yet they still found this to be within acceptable parameters. So what you have is a super simple game that you can play with even very young children. Has a fun nature theme. It's about knowledge, discovering animals, documenting them to share the knowledge with others. It is a fun theme. It looks really, really good. The production values are really nice with these thick tiles. And again, most importantly, for a light game, it has some interesting decisions that emerge from incredibly linear gameplay. So I'm pleased. I'm happy. I'm really happy that I picked up Costa Rica. My family already has enjoyed it quite a bit, and I know we will be playing it more in the future.